Hey guys, so I made that video that's about Snow White, this movie that just came. But there was another movie that came, and this came into my knowledge after what happened with one of the directors. He was attacked by settlers, it seems like. He was beaten, and then when they were taking him to a hospital, I think he called a ambulance for himself. The Israeli EDF came and kidnapped him pretty much, and now we don't know where he is. This is one of the guys who made the movie, No Other Land. I want to talk about it because it's about the gate of life, narrow gate to life. If you watch that movie, and you should watch it, by the way, you should watch that documentary that they made. If you watch it, it's like being thrown in the deep, dark end of the pool. And you're not gonna be able to swim in those waters without making mistakes. That movie is about the gate of life that nobody is walking through, except these two. These two people, one is Palestinian, the other one is Israeli. They seem to have become kind of friends. They are walking through the gate of life. Everybody else in that movie, which is what you just get pummeled after one moment after another, it's people acting from darkness, from ignorance, not knowing what is righteous. Like they're like an extension of something else. When the IDF shows up and they're doing something that's obviously unrighteous, something that nobody who loves God can do, they justify it by saying it's law. Lawlessness does not become law when you write some papers in your courtrooms and say this is law now. What happens is you become somebody who is lawless. And when a lawless person says this is law, what they're really talking about is further lawlessness. This is the unrighteous behavior of the Israelis that you see in that movie. And then you see Palestinians not knowing what to do, because they read a book that is written by Satan. They have no armor of God. They have no shield of faith, no belt of trusting. They certainly don't have the Spirit, the sword of the Spirit, that is the word of God. And you just see like a theft of something like a generator escalate into a shove, and then eventually somebody gets shot. And that escalates then into a woman screaming. They're also acting out of darkness, ignorance. They don't know how to behave in scenarios like that. I know how to behave theoretically because I have knowledge of the Word of God. I know what is righteous. I have not been tested like these people have been tested. They're living out the thing that to me right now is theoretical, and they don't have the right answers. They're acting out of darkness, out of ignorance, out of helplessness, desperation. They don't know where is the peace of Christ. They don't have that. You have people who denied the Messiah, and then you have people who are deceived by the false prophet Muhammad, to whom Satan appeared as an angel of light. That book is terrible. It's something that cripples a person's spirituality. They can't even grieve properly. That's what that documentary is about. It's about showing you the narrow gate to life, which is loving your neighbor. But it's only for them, the Palestinians and Israelis. For them, loving your neighbor is a narrow gate to life. To the rest of us, we have to love God. A worldly person looks at this and they become angry, right? flustered, they start to hate on things. There's like these complicated things happening, but they deny that. And instead they just look at what's in front of them and become full of like hatred and bitterness, and they want the other side to suffer. You know, whatever side you're choosing. That is not the gate to life to anybody who watches this movie. Like I said, it's like being thrown in the deep pool, deep part of the pool. You're not gonna be able to swim in those waters. You have to get your little pinky wet first. You should watch the movie. Try to watch it in a way where it's not, where you aren't enraged like an animal being cornered or watching other people being cornered. We are somebody who is greater than animals. The documentary starts with somebody saying, I think, that they believe in human rights. I've said it before, there is no such thing as human rights. Anybody who believes in human rights believes in men, has made God out of mortal man for himself. Because human rights are something that man gave to man. God never gave rights to humans. He gave us dominion over the world. No rights. Animals have rights. It is this ignorant place of darkness that you see if you watch that documentary. The gate to life is there, and you can see it. I asked ChatGPT if Palestinians are Semites because I've heard that before, and the answer is yes. And the bot, without me prompting, gave me a little history lesson that anti-Semitism is usually about the Jews, right? Because of historical reasons. What this bot doesn't know is that time progresses. And it seems like people also do not understand. So that defense doesn't make sense anymore because what the Jews now practice is also anti-Semitism. So when we go a little bit in the future, right? And history increases, we can look back and say, oh, anti-Semitism, turns out it goes both ways. First, it was to the Jew, and then it was to the Gentile. These patterns are repeating. History repeats itself. Okay, thank you, worldly man. If you read the Bible, you wouldn't think you said something so profound. It's literally written there by wiser men than you already. God is the only salvation out of this thing that deserves judgment. I want the new stories to begin with Christ as the head of the righteous kingdom, right here on earth. This is what I'm working toward. That is my home. This is when I stopped watching the movie, when the guys were in the car.